Welcome back to the Reborn podcast, where we delve deep into personal growth, spiritual development, and the journey of entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Tony Boutrous, and today I want to share a lesson that has fundamentally shifted the way I approach challenges, relationships, and my journey as a leader. This is a lesson that can free you from the shackles of self-doubt and push you towards a more fulfilled, purposeful life. The lesson is simple yet profound. No one cares. At least not as much as you think they do. Before you begin to think this is negative, stay with me. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Let's start with a story, a moment in my life that changed everything. I was working tirelessly on a project that meant the world to me. I was pouring my heart and soul into it, convinced that everyone around me was just as invested, just as focused on the details. Every setback felt like the end of the world. Every mistake, a glaring spotlight on my inadequacies, just like pronouncing the word inadequacies. But then something happened and made me realize no one cares as much as I do. And it's not a bad thing. It's liberating. Here's the reality. We often believe that the world is watching us, judging our every move, waiting for us to fail or succeed. We get trapped in this mindset that the weight of the world is on our shoulders. But the truth is, people are too busy worrying about their own lives, their own problems, to really care about every little thing we do. This aligns with what Jesus teaches us in Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Worrying about how others perceive us, or about how the future does not serve us. About how the future doesn't serve us. Lost my train of thought. Worrying about how others perceive us or about the future doesn't serve us. It only distracts us from living fully in the present. And once you truly understand that, it becomes easier to take risks, to push forward without the paralyzing fear of judgment. You start focusing on what really matters: your growth, your mission, your purpose. You stop trying to please everyone and start living authentically. So how does this lesson apply to personal growth, spiritual development, and entrepreneurship? Let me break it down. In personal growth, this means you stop obsessing over how others perceive your journey. You're not running a race against anyone but yourself. The only opinions that should matter are yours, and those are the people who truly care about your well-being. Galatians 1:10 reminds us, am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were so trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. This verse is a powerful reminder that our focus should be on our alignment with our values and God's purpose, not on pleasing others. In spiritual development, this lesson teaches us to let go of the ego. The ego tells us that we're the center of the universe, but spiritual growth is about humility, about understanding that we're part of something much larger. Philippians 2:3-4 teaches us, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. When you realize that no one cares about your every mistake, you can forgive yourself and grow more freely, allowing humility to guide you. And in entrepreneurship, this is a game changer. The fear of failure is the number one killer of great ideas. One of the biggest things I hear all the time is, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? What would you do? Many of us, we have something we would do, which is not what we're actually doing, because we have this fear of failure. And we think that the whole world will judge us and laugh at us. And here's the funny part. First of all, one, they won't. Second of all, who cares if they do? Again, are you serving God? Or are you trying to win the approval of human beings? But if you know that no one is obsessing over your failures, you can take the bold steps necessary to innovate and lead. You can pivot, experiment, and adapt without the crushing weight of external expectations. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Trusting in God's plan allows us to release the need to control every outcome and focus on what truly matters. Now, let's talk about some practical ways to internalize this lesson. Here are 3 strategies that have worked for me. Zoom out. When you feel overwhelmed by a mistake or a setback, take a step back and think and ask yourself, will this matter in a year? Will this matter in 5 years? Most of the time, the answer is no. And not only that, but we live in a universe that has millions of galaxies, that each galaxy, our galaxy has, I think, 8 planets. Our planet has 7 continents. Our continent has 3 countries. Our country has 50 states. Our state has, I don't know how many towns and cities. Our city has 1.2 million people, and that's not even including the surrounding suburbs. 1.2 million people in the city. So now, should I be afraid to go in this room with 2,000 people and walk out and each one of them hates me? No, because there's still 1.2 million minus 2,000. The math, it comes out to 0.000 whatever, 1%. And oftentimes we get ourselves stuck in the trap and then in the mindset of proximity. The people who are closest to us are the people who dictate our lives. And my entire childhood was dictated, and specifically my entire teenage years from middle school to high school was dictated by what others thought about me. Not about what I thought about myself, not about what God thought about me, what others thought about me, what my peers. I wanted to be like the cool kids and fit in and have this group of friends, and it just never happened. And my life was dictated by that desire, which then led to depression and anxiety and so on. And it led to, thank God, hitting rock bottom and being able to grow from there. And so most of the time when we zoom out and we think to ourselves, will this actually matter? Does this actually matter? Even today, the answer is no. For context, as an entrepreneur, I want you to think of the biggest entrepreneurs you know. So maybe Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, whoever, right? And I want you to think about their family, their personal time. We know Elon Musk and we look up to Elon Musk because he's bringing back free speech on Twitter. He's making electric cars a thing, or he was one of the first saving the world. But when we think about his family, it's like, okay, he has a family, cool. One of the mindset frames is people care about what you can do for them. When you're watching a commercial, when you're reading a book, when you're talking to someone, each of us, we have this internal thought, no matter, and we can't control it. It just pops up. And what will this do for me? What will Tesla do for me? What will SpaceX do for me? What will Twitter do for me? We aren't thinking about Elon Musk. Elon Musk could be completely replaced by, I don't know, Kevin Moon, whatever, like random person, random name. And we would think the same thing about Kevin Moon because of what they do for us, not because of who they are. So zooming out helps you gain perspective, just as Matthew 6:34 encourages us to not worry about tomorrow or tripping over our own words. Focus on what you can control. People's opinions are out of your control. What you can control is your effort, your mindset, and how you respond to challenges. Focus on these and the noise around you will fade. 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us, for the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. Lean into that strength, and you'll find it easier to let go of the fear of judgment. Thirdly, embrace the journey, not the destination. When you're no longer fixated on what others think, you can enjoy the process. Now, I remember a lot of entrepreneurs, we have a big why, we have a big purpose, we have a big reason that keeps us going. And some people, it might just be literally, I want to make more money, period. That might be it. But many of us, we have this thing from the past. We have this idea, this person we envision becoming, this person that we're running away from being, or whatever, something like that. And I remember before I started my business, being broke, I was driving a nice car. I think a 2012 yellow V6 Mustang drop top convertible. And I remember I would pull up to the gas station and I was like, I love my car, and it definitely was the ego booster. But I remember I would pull up to the gas station anxious because I didn't even know if I had enough money in the bank to pay for gas. And the destination to me was what I valued back then more than a journey. I remember getting my first big check, about $35,000, and I had an instant dopamine boost, but it became empty quickly. And it's because I didn't enjoy the process. I was there for the destination. And even today, right now, my business goal is I'm trying to scale to $100,000 a month. Then I'm trying to scale to $250,000. Then I'm trying to scale to $500,000. And so the goal always moves. And so if you take enjoyment and fulfillment and purpose out of the destination, then you're always going to feel unfulfilled. And that, by the way, is not necessarily a bad thing because it will keep you going. But also enjoy the process, enjoy the journey of getting there, and realize and understand that every step and every misstep is part of that journey. Remember Proverbs 3:5-6. And trust that God is guiding your path. As we wrap up today's episode, I want you to remember this. The freedom to pursue your dreams comes from understanding that you're not as important to others as you might think. And that's a good thing. It gives you the space to experiment, to grow, and to fail without fear. Because in the end, what matters most is not what others think of you, but what you think of yourself and what God ultimately thinks of you. Thank you for tuning into the Reborn podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to reach out to me on social media or leave a review. Until next time, stay focused, stay driven, and keep reborn. This is Tony Boutros, signing off.